So we all have people that we go to for advice. We look up to, we're inspired by, we learn from, we get on really well with. If you don't, you should. And I encourage you to invest into building those relationships. But one of mine is a woman called Claire McGrath. She was amazing. We first really kind of met. I started doing one-on-one yoga with her twice a week for 6 months. And we were doing yoga, but I learned so much from her. But I picked up on one thing and I thought it was really interesting. She was an IBBF pro bodybuilder. She was a champion gold medalist. And anyway, when she won, instead of hanging her medals up in a room or somewhere fancy, she put them in a rear view mirror in her car. Now, God help her if she got into an accident, but I thought it was really interesting. And she said, look, that was my past. And so I'll look at them in my past, what's next? And effectively what she did is she dedicated herself to a space, did exceptionally well. When she nailed it, she then left it in her past and she made space for what's next. And we had a talk last week. There was a woman called Jo Hemmings. She was a relationships expert, and somebody asked the question. They said, look, what's a tip that you would give in terms of people, trying to get into a serious relationship? And she said, the easiest tip I'll give is if you're looking for a serious relationship, get rid of the casual relationships. If you want to move into a new space, a bigger, a better space, you've got to make space. And that makes a huge amount of sense. To be fair, if you're distracted by all these casual relationships, you're mentally not going to be there for a serious relationship. And whoever you're thinking of being with will look at you spread across all over the place and just think, no, that's not attractive. But I was interested in terms of that whole concept of making space. And it made a lot of sense for me when it comes to business as well. A lot of the time, projects can build up on each other. As an entrepreneur, you can get involved in one project and that goes, and then another project and that goes, and you keep them on. And actually they can almost overwhelm you and almost clog up your progress. And so sometimes there's a really important thing that you actually need to clear your plate or make space for what's to come or for that next step up. If you think about it, in business, you're all the time learning, you're all the time developing skills, building a network, refining your expertise. But if that's applied to old projects, you can only really get so far. But it's important then to make space and take all that skill and take all that expertise and all that perspective and open it up to a future product, a new project. So anyway, I've just become really interested in this whole idea of making space, having faith in that space for what's then to come. It's almost like a bit of a leap of faith. Because to be fair, you're familiar with what you have in front of you and what you're involved in. If it's a relationship, if it's a partner, if it's a hobby, if it's a sports passion, whatever it might be. And you don't know of what's to come, but you have to almost instinctively have faith. But I think it's all made all the easier when you realize, one second, I've built up all this wealth of knowledge, all this experience, all this strength, all this confidence, all this perspective. I'm applying it to this field. I've nailed this field. If I let it go, I've got all that to perhaps look at what's next to come. And anyway, I found it really, it's funny when you hear a lesson in one space and you start applying it to others. So, I got it from Claire with regards to her rear view mirror. I heard it with Joe with regards to relationships. And I'm thinking of it now very much with regards to business. And I'm seeing huge value in that leap of faith to clear the slate, to make space for what's to come. And so I just wanted to share it with you. Take from it what you like, but I think there's real genius in it.